Okay, so last time we had started calculating 16.31 Wood Spirits Company, in which they were processing and producing methanol and turpentine from a single joint production process. It was given that the company's total output is of 10,000 liters, and the company is manufacturing 25% of methanol and 75% of turpentine. So looking to that, if we go ahead and we calculate, then 25% of 10,000 is 2,500 methanol and 7,500 liters of turpentine is being produced. We had allocated the joint cost of 12 lakh on the basis of physical measures, and we found that 25% of 12 lakh is 3 lakh and 9 lakh is allocated to turpentine respectively. Other than that, we also calculated NRV split off point. So when you go to NRV split off point, the sales value is given. Sales value of methanol and sales value of turpentine is given to you. 210 rupees is sales value of methanol per liter, whereas the same of turpentine is 140 rupees per liter. So 210 multiplied by the output quantity produced is 2,500. It comes to 5,25,000. In the same way, when you calculate the revenue or final sales value of turpentine, it is 140 rupees multiplied by 7,500 rupees. So this is the total final sales value that a company is able to earn by selling methanol and turpentine, that is 15,75,000 rupees. After doing that, after calculating the sales value, we need to deduct separable cost of methanol and separable cost of turpentine from their respective final sales value. So methanol's separable cost is rupees 30 per liter. So 2,500 is the quantity multiplied by 30 comes to 7,000, 75,000, and respectively 20 rupees for turpentine. So it comes to 1,50,000. And we found the NR weightage from NRV split off point, and we allocated 4 lakh and 8 lakh respectively to methanol and turpentine out of 12 lakh rupees. Then we also calculated the profit line profitability when joint cost is allocated under physical measures. Turpentine is earning nothing and methanol is earning 1,50,000, and the total earning value of the company is 1,50,000. When 2,500 liters of methanol is produced and 7,500 turpentine is produced, and the joint cost is allocated on the basis of physical measures, that means quantity produced. But when we move on to the another method, that is calculating profitability with the help of NRV split off point, what we are able to find that the profitability is 50,000 rupees for methanol and 1 lakh for turpentine. See in both the cases, at here and here, when you are calculating cost for, just a moment. So the total profit of the company do not changes irrespective of the method, but profit of the product line changes. Here it was 0 and here it is 1 lakh. Here it was 1,50,000 when you are using physical measures, and when you are using NR with split off and joint cost is allocated according to that, the profit is 50,000. Up to this we had completed. Now the case is the fourth requirement is given that out of methanol, company is further processing this methanol into alcohol beverages, and nothing is being processed from turpentine. It is the same product. Now when company is processing methanol into alcohol beverages, company is also incurring additional cost of 90 rupees per liter. Remember, there was a point given that when you are processing methanol or turpentine to produce some another product, the quantity output do not changes. It remains same as it was in the input. So in that case, alcohol beverages is produced 2,500 liters and turpentine is 7,500 liters respectively. And the sales value of alcohol beverages 600 rupees per liter. So in that case, this becomes 15 lakh rupees. Turpentine sales value is same 140 rupees per liter multiplied by 7,500 comes to 10,50,000 rupees. and the total sales value increases to 25,50,000 from 15,75,000. It increased to 25,50,000 when company is deciding to process methanol from methanol and produce alcohol beverages. This is clear. Now moving ahead to separable cost. When you are earning additional revenue, definitely for processing you might have incurred additional cost. An additional cost is given into two different sections. One, the first, let me go back to the methanol point and recall that methanol was produced by spending 30 rupees per liter. Now from when methanol you are moving on to alcohol beverages, a step ahead, you are also incurring additional 90 rupees on alcohol beverage process. So in that case, what happens? Methanol was 30 rupees and additional 90 you are incurring for producing alcohol beverage. Separable cost becomes 120 rupees per liter. Along with that, it is also mentioned that company is also supposed to incur 20% of excise duty on alcohol beverages. So that is again a cost incurred. So we need to add these two costs in separable cost, and separable cost will be like 2,500 liters, 30 rupees, sorry, multiplied by 30 rupees plus 90 rupees. So this makes 120. We had clarified this, right? Plus additional. Now there is a 20% excise duty and it is on final sales value. So multiplied by 20%, and this is your entire separable cost for alcohol beverages, right? So when you will deduct these two costs, I had taken this into single cell. We can also go for a separate cell. Instead of doing that, it is already calculated below. So this is separable cost and this is taxes. So when you will see here, it is the final sales value multiplied by 0.20. So it is also 3 lakh rupees. So NRV split off becomes 15 lakh minus 6 lakhs comes to 9 lakh. Here it was 9 already. We know the calculations. As we had not changed anything over here. So it is 9 lakh for each respective product line. That is NRV split off is 9 lakh at each product line. And the weightage is 50% given to each product. And the joint cost allocated is, remember the total joint cost was 12 lakhs. So 50% of 12 lakh is 6 lakhs allocated to your alcohol beverages and 6 lakhs allocated to your turpentine. So this comes to 12 lakh allocation and the profitability is 15 lakh minus 9 lakh minus 6 lakhs comes to 6 lakh rupees, right? So this is how this respective profitability is being calculated. Minus NRV split off minus joint cost is 3 lakh. 3 lakh rupees each. So it comes to 6 lakh rupees. So this is how it is calculated. Up to this, the sum is completed. If you have any queries, you can definitely ask. So this is the new chapter, the chapter number 18, probably in your textbook, spoilage, rework, and scrap. I'd asked you to come with a reading of this respective chapter. Now, what this chapter discusses about, let me give you a brief and then we'll move on to the theoretical part. See, first of all, only theoretical things are supposed to be, will be there in the syllabus, so we'll focus on that part only. Calculations, will definitely understand the concepts and everything, but will not calculate any sums in this chapter, right? Generally, spoilage or scrap, you understand these terms. See, spoilage, when you're working somewhere, it is very much obvious. You though you worked in a proper efficient way, it is possible you may not be able to get 100% output. For example, I'm adding a input of 100 units of some X. So I will not be getting 100%, 100 units of output. I will be getting some 98, 99, 95, whatever it is. So if it is worked under an efficient condition and still there is a 2%, 3% things, goods are destroyed or damaged, it can be termed as a spoilage. Now spoilage can be normal spoilage can be abnormal spoilage, that we'll discuss in the chapter later on. Rework. Number of time what happens when a spoilage occurs, certain parts or certain products are in such condition on which if you are working, that is reworking on the same product, make that product ready for sale. आप किन प्रोडक्ट को सेल नहीं कर सकते, इसमें डैमेज हो गया होता है ना थोड़ा सा, उसको स्पॉइलेज कहते हैं। लेकिन कई चीजें स्पॉइलेज होने के बाद भी थोड़ा सा बेटर काम करके उसको और अच्छी तरीके से बना के उसको फिट टू सेल कर सकते हैं। तो फिट टू सेल हुआ तो रीवर्क हो जाएगा। और कई चीजें जिसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता है, जिसका इस्तेमाल किया ही नहीं जा सकता है, जिसको आप रीवर्क नहीं कर सकते, वो स्क्रैप में चली जाती है, राइट। तो ये 3 टॉपिक्स हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं। इनकी अकाउंटिंग मेथोडोलॉजी क्या होगी, कैसे कैलकुलेशंस होते हैं, कॉस्ट कैसे कैलकुलेट होता है इसका, हम इन चीजों पे आज डिस्कस करेंगे। लेट्स गो इनटू
स्पॉइलेज फिर से समझाओ ना।
सॉरी,
स्पॉइलेज फिर से समझाओ ना।
स्पॉइलेज, चलो आपको एक
Yes.
बहुत इजी एग्जांपल देते हैं। आप एग्जाम में पेपर लिखते हो और आप बाहर निकल के आपको लगता है आपने सब कुछ राइट लिखा है, चलो हिंदी, इंग्लिश या गुजराती के पेपर की बात कर लो, आपने सब कुछ राइट लिखा है, एक चीज गलत नहीं लिखी आपने, क्या आपको पूरे 100 मार्क मिलते हैं?
नहीं सर।
नहीं मिलते ना,
ना।
कट जाता है। वो कटता कहाँ पे है? शायद कहीं पे आपने कोई ग्रामेटिकल एरर कर दी है, कोई आकार इकार की मात्रा गलत लगा दी है, उसके मार्क्स कटते
Yes,
हैं।
sir.
आपने बाकी सब सही लिखा है और आपने परफेक्टली लिखने की कोशिश की है, ये आपकी एफिशिएंसी थी। अंडर अ कंट्रोल्ड एटमॉस्फेयर आपने सब लिखा, but still though you had attempted all 100% questions, all 100 marks questions, but still you are not able to generate 100 marks. You can be able to score maximum some 97, 98, 99 possibly. So that 1% mark can be considered, that 2% mark can be considered, that 3% marks can be considered as a spoilage. जब आप कोई काम करोगे तो 100% एफिशिएंसी देने के बाद, 100% आपका देने के बाद भी कहीं तो थोड़ा बहुत डैमेज हुआ होगा ना काम में, उसको हम स्पॉइलेज कहते हैं। लेकिन जितना भी स्पॉइलेज हुआ है उस पर अगर वापस रीवर्क करें तो उसको हम बेच सकते हैं। जनरली आप जब प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चर करते हो, आपको सेल करने के लिए प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चर करना है। आपने देखा होगा ना, क्लियरेंस सेल लगता है, डैमेज पार्ट सेल लगता है, डैमेज प्रोडक्ट सेल लगता है। अभी आपके लैपटॉप्स फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम कहते हैं तो लैपटॉप में क्या होता है, दो तरह के लैपटॉप्स आ रहे हैं अगर आपने देखा हो मार्केट में। एक आता है फ्रेश प्रोडक्ट, दूसरा आता है रिफर्बिश्ड प्रोडक्ट, और दोनों का प्राइस में बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस होता है। ये रिफर्बिश्ड है क्या, क्यों प्राइस डिफरेंस के साथ आ रहा है? तो ये ऑलरेडी
डिफेक्ट है
प्रोडक्ट है जो यूज हो गया है, या तो कोई डैमेज प्रोडक्ट था, उसको कंपनी ने थोड़ा सा रिवर्क करके लेसर प्राइस में सेल करने के लिए निकाल दिया। समझ में आ रहा है आपको?
यस सर।
और स्क्रैप जिसका कुछ नहीं हो सकता, दैट इज स्क्रैप। नाउ इज इट क्लियर?
यस सर।
Okay, good. So these are the things that we'll be learning from this chapter. We'll understand, we have already discussed the definitions of spoilage, rework and scrap. We'll identify what is the difference between normal and abnormal spoilage. We'll understand the accounting for spoilage in process costing using the weighted average method and the FIFO method. We'll also discuss about the various stages of completion for process costing and accounting methodologies, and accounting for spoilage in job costing, rework, and accounting for scrap. These are the topics that we are going to focus on. Remember, we are not entering into technicalities of general entries and all. You know general entries, what it means. So we'll directly move on to the theoretical part, right? Wherever I find there's a new term, some new concept is there, I will definitely explain you those concepts. Basic definitions of spoilage: units of production, whether fully or partially completed, that do not meet the specification required by the customers for good units. Now, good units are units that are ready for sale, which a consumer is ready to purchase. आप कई बार प्रोडक्ट खरीदने जाते हो ना, मान लो कोई आपने नोटबुक खरीदनी है, आपने नोटबुक देखी और आपको उसमें काफी सारे पेज जुड़े हुए मिलते हैं, आप क्या करते हो, ले लेते हो, रिटर्न कर देते हो ना, कि भाई हमको अच्छी नोटबुक दो जिसमें पेजेस जुड़े हुए ना हो, कहीं पे दो चार पेजेस में लाइंस ड्रॉ नहीं हुई होंगी, ब्लैंक पेज हो गया होगा, तो आप ऐसी नोटबुक नहीं लेते. So that is not a good unit. A good unit is which a consumer is ready to purchase. तो ऐसे जो units हैं which cannot be defined as a good units can be discarded for selling or are supposed to be sold at a reduced price. So such kind of units can be termed as spoilage. Is it clear? Spoilage समझ में आ रहा है class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now moving ahead to the another definition, rework. फॉर एग्जाम्पल जैसे हमने अभी नोटबुक की बात की, अब कंपनी ने ये चेक करते वक्त ही देख लिया कि भाई पेजेस जुड़े हुए हैं, पेजेस में लाइंस ड्रॉ नहीं हुए, प्रिंटिंग बराबर नहीं है, तो शायद प्रिंटिंग का तो हम रीवर्क नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन जो पेजेस जुड़े हुए हैं उसको वो निकाल के अलग करके वापस उसको सेल कर सकते हैं. दैट इज रीवर्क, क्योंकि वो फिनिश गुड्स में कन्वर्ट हो गया, वो डैमेज प्रोडक्ट नहीं रहा. So that is known as a rework. Units of production that do not meet the specification required by customers, but that are subsequently repaired and sold as a finished goods will be known as rework. And scrap, residual material that results from manufacturing a product. It is a part of your process, production process only, that you will generate scrap. Scrap has a low total sales value compared with total sales value of the product, and definitely scrap is the least valued product of the entire production process. Scrap is similar to byproduct, but scrap arises as a residual from a manufacturing process, and it is not a product targeted for manufacture or sale by the firm. Generally, we had seen about joint costing, and that there was a concept of byproduct, and byproduct is also a part of a process. When you're processing something, you get main product, you get joint products, and out of and the end of the day you get a byproduct also. But scrap is residual, byproduct is not residual. Keep in mind, byproduct is a outcome of a production process, whereas scrap is also outcome of production, but it is the least valued product or is not desired at all. Byproduct is expected, that okay, we'll get this byproduct. This is the difference between a scrap and a byproduct. Accounting for spoilage. A certain amount of spoilage, rework, or scrap is inherent in many production processes. That's true. Whenever a production process is going on, it is always expected such certain amount of scrap will come, certain amount of spoilage will be there, and we can be able to rework on a certain part of the spoilage. So this is expected. Accounting for spoilage aims to determine the magnitude of spoilage cost and to distinguish between cost of normal and abnormal spoilage. Okay. Now, when we talk about accounting for spoilage, so why do we need to find out, why do we need to go for accounting purposes, so that we can understand what amount we are incurring on spoilage. हमें ये पता चलेगा कि हमारा कितना पैसा स्पॉइलेज में जा रहा है, नॉर्मल स्पॉइलेज में कितना पैसा वेस्ट हो रहा है या लग रहा है, और एबनॉर्मल स्पॉइलेज में कितना पैसा वेस्ट हो रहा है. So that can be easily calculated. And to manage, control and reduce the spoilage cost, they should be highlighted, not simply folded into the production cost. Yes, ये important है कि भाई अगर आपको बताना है spoilage cost कितना है, उसको कितना हद तक हम कम कर सकते हैं. अगर आपको टारगेट सेट करना है, क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट का जो रोल है वो यहीं पे है कि भाई जितना हो सके उतना कम स्पॉइलेज हो, तो उतना कम नुकसान होगा कंपनी को. और उसके लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा, हमको इसको हाईलाइट करना पड़ेगा, बताना पड़ेगा कितना कितना रुपया हमारा स्पॉइलेज में जा रहा है. इसको हम प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट के नाम पे नहीं डाल सकते. ठीक है, प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट के नाम पे इसको डाल दिया तो मैनेजमेंट को, कंपनी को कभी पता ही नहीं चलेगा कितना पैसा स्पॉइलेज में जा रहा है, कितना रिसोर्सेज हमारा वेस्ट हो रहा है. And that is why this is supposed to be highlighted. We are talking about normal spoilage and abnormal spoilage. See, normal spoilage, again coming to your examination example. When you come out from the examination hall after writing the entire paper and you reassess that what you had written, you identify that okay, I will be getting 97 marks out of 100. 3% is expected. 3% error is expected, right? So that will be termed as normal spoilage. But instead of getting 97, you get only 85 marks then. that is known as abnormal spoilage. Additional to the normal spoilage, if it do not comes as per the result, the additional spoilage will be termed as abnormal spoilage. So normal spoilage rates are computed by dividing the units of normal spoilage by total units completed and not actual units started in production. So normal spoilage rate कैसे find होगा? तो spoilage divided by यानी total spoilage divided by complete units completed, that is known as units completed means unit that is produced and not unit that is considered to be input. So that is known as the normal spoilage. Management makes a conscious decision about the production rate per hour, which generates a certain level of normal spoilage. Whereas abnormal spoilage is usually regarded as avoidable and controllable. So abnormal spoilage is something which is controllable, which can be avoided. So abnormal spoilage is spoilage that is not inherent in a particular production process and would not arise under efficient operating conditions. So abnormal spoilage अगर है तो efficient operating condition में नहीं आएगा. कंपनी चाहे तो उसको अवॉइड कर सकती है, उसको कंट्रोल कर सकती है. ठीक है. To highlight the effect of abnormal spoilage cost, companies calculate the units of abnormal spoilage, and record the cost in the loss from abnormal spoilage accounts, which appears as a separate line of on the income statement. Abnormal spoilage से जितना भी नुकसान हुआ होता है या जो भी कॉस्ट लगा होता है, उसको सेपरेट अकाउंट में loss from abnormal spoilage में दिखाया जाता है, so that company can understand what impact of this abnormal spoilage is there on the income statement, right? There are two methods that you can calculate the cost of spoilage in process costing, that is weighted average and FIFO. So we'll go with weighted average. You are well aware about the terms weighted average and FIFO. FIFO is first in first out, whereas weighted average is the calculating the weighted average of all the product inflow and outflow. That is weighted average, right? Let us go and try to understand ahead. Inspection point and spoilage. Where to identify that there is a spoilage? Inspection point, the stage of production process at which products are examined to determine whether they are acceptable or unacceptable. Generally, you have heard a term quality checking. So QC people gives a certification whether the product is ready for sale in the market or are rejected or are damaged or are not up to that standard that a customer will accept that product. That is nothing but it's an inspection point. And units or batches or a number of products that are not accepted by or rejected by the quality checking point will be termed as a spoilage. So that is, but when it happens at the last point. That means when the product is already ready for sale, all resources are being consumed, and at that point of time, the QC people says that this respective number of units are not good to be sold in the market. But till that time, all cost has been incurred. So generally what happens? You should have multiple checkpoints. So at a certain point where you find that, okay, the product is not good for sale, you can stop the production of those units and you can be able to save your respective cost. And if it is possible, from that point only, if rework is required, you can be able to rework and can be able to make it more good product compared to what it was supposed to be. So five-step procedure for process costing with spoilage. First of all, summarize the flow of physical units of output, identify both normal and abnormal spoilage. So we first of all need to identify or need to prepare a sheet where we will be talking about the physical units of output. How many units of output are being produced? And out of that, how many units are normal spoilage and how many units are abnormal spoilage? And after that, compute the output in terms of equivalent units. Now this equivalent unit is a new term. We will discuss this when we'll go to the next slide. Spoil units are included in the computation of output units, and spoil units are also considered in output units, right? After that, these two process is completed. Now first two process are talking about unit that is produced. It can be in number of pieces, number of units, number of liters, whatever it is. depending on the kind of product. But first two steps talks about units, physical units. Now when you go to the third stage, from here you are in the cost matter enters into the scenario. So converting your physical units into cost. For example, there are 100 units and the cost to produce those 100 units is 100 rupees. So third step will be talking about 100 units multiplied by 100 rupee as a cost. That is 10,000 rupees. So from third step, your cost matters enters, your rupee value terms enter. Fourth, compute cost per equivalent unit. So you have to find out what is the per unit cost, but here it is equivalent unit. I told you we'll discuss in the next slide. And assign the total cost to units completed, spoiled, and units in ending work in process. So this is how you can be able to calculate this sum. This respective. Now this is step 1 and 2. Example using spoilage. Example with spoilage using weighted average. This is a sum taken from your book itself. Now see here, step 1 is there and step 2 is there. And we talked about equivalent units. Generally what happens when there's a work in process. So work in process means the product is not completely ready, but product has consumed resources. Maybe materials, maybe labors, maybe additional things, additional resources has been consumed. So to convert them into a certain number of units, that is known as equivalent units. If you are adding these all costs together, how much units, completed units could have been happened, that is known as equivalent unit, right? So here it is given, work in process is given to you 1500, started during the time period, current period is 8500, and total number of units become 10,000. So work in process is there and you started working for 8500 units. So how many units you will be calculating now? Total 10,000 units. Definitely out of that some ending inventory will be there, but it will come at the end of the period. So we are not discussing what is our ending inventory right now. Now out of these 10,000 units that you are going to calculate, 7,000 units are completely completed and transferred out. That means out of 10,000 units, 10,000 units of input, you had completed 7,000 products, 7,000 units of your product. So, and that's why they are transferred out. So out of these 7,000 units, your direct material will be of 7,000 units, whatever material is required, right? Whatever weightage or quantity is required, but all those material is for 7,000 units, and conversion cost, maybe labor, maybe electricity, various others that you can convert, the product into final product. So conversion cost is of 7,000 units. This is 100% consumption, right? Now, when you go ahead and you calculate normal spoilage, this is given that spoilage is 10% of goods transferred out. So this is your 7,000. 7,000 में से 700 रुपया 700 यूनिट आपका नॉर्मल स्पॉइलेज है, 10% of transferred out. And abnormal spoilage, total spoilage is equal to total spoilage, abnormal spoilage you can say total spoilage minus normal spoilage, and it is, as it is 10%, we have total 10,000 units. 10% of that is 1,000 minus 700 comes to 300 units. So this is your abnormal spoilage, and both of this, here it is given that in material it is 100%, conversion it is 100% cost incurred, and that is why we are writing separately material 700, that is 100%, and conversion cost is 700, that is 100%. The same way for abnormal spoilage we'll write, and after deducting these three things, that is your goods completed and transferred out, normal spoilage and abnormal spoilage, whatever remains on hand will be your ending inventory. So this is your total bifurcation of 10,000 units that you are supposed to calculate or produce, and 7,000, 8,000, 9 and 10,000. So this is how it is calculated. But these are the first two steps only, that is calculating in physical units. Now, if you have any queries, we can discuss your queries now.